Hello, friends. Today we'll be reviewing Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. Just a quick note before we get started. For those of you who are familiar with my reviews, I usually like to give non-spoiler reviews. I don't give away anything from the book. I like to go into books blind, so I like to give reviews that don't give away any information about the book to let you go into a book blind. For this book, I have to give away a little bit to chat about it. So if you don't want to know anything at all about the book, go ahead and click away and then come back after you've read it and we can chat about it. So Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke has been talked about a lot recently on BookTube and on Twitter, and that cover really got me. It was a striking cover. As soon as I saw that cover, I knew I wanted to read the book. It just very, very effective cover because it got me. I wanted to read it. Now this book is very unique because the story is told through correspondence between two women, and it's told through emails and instant messenger logs. Now one woman is selling an apple peeler, and the other woman is inquiring about an apple peeler, and that's how the friendship and relationship starts. And we are told right away that something terrible happens as a result of this correspondence. So it's almost like a police log. We're reviewing evidence from a case, and we're reviewing what happened leading up to this terrible event. So this book almost reminded me of something like the Blair Witch Project. And I bring that up because in the Blair Witch Project, for those of you who have watched it, it is a mockumentary of three people lost in the woods, and they're filming themselves in the woods getting lost and panicking and bickering back and forth. And what they do when they're lost makes sense because they do these petty things. They panic. They seem like real people. Even before they're lost, they seem like normal, everyday people that all of us know. And that's what made that movie so effective at the time, because it seemed like real people in this really terrible circumstance, and these terrible things happening to these regular people. So it was effective. Now, the reason I bring this up is because the writing is beautiful. There's some really great writing, this really eloquent writing, which is great. But the problem is that we're told that this is correspondence between two normal people. And I don't know anybody who writes emails like this. They write this big, long email about the history of this apple peeler. It didn't seem real. It didn't seem like two normal people talking about everyday things or even an apple peeler. So that's the first thing that kind of took me out of the book. It didn't seem real, and we're told that this is real. So we want to feel like we're looking into these private lives of these two people, which is leading up to this horrible event. So because this story is told via instant messaging logs and emails, which was our means of communication back in the year 2000, which this book is based on. Those of you who remember those days remember, instant messaging and emails and IRC and things like that. It was all text messages back and forth. Now, the reason I mention this is because on some of the pages, it's usernames and timestamps, and if you take away those timestamps and usernames, this book is really, this book is about 110 pages long, but if you take all that away, it's really closer to 60 pages long. And that's not a complaint, it's just to mention that I'm a relatively slow reader, but I was done with it in about an hour. And the reason I mention it is because the story moves really fast. It didn't have the subtlety or nuance that I feel like you need to have in a story like this to really build the suspense. The way that the story is told is very unique, and I don't know of any other books that tell a story like this in this type of format. There may be, but I don't know about them. I respect the fact that the author went for it, tried something new, something different. So kudos for that, points for that, because I love it when people take a chance, they try something new, something different, and they just go for it. Now, while I love the writing, because it didn't feel like it fit this format, it just didn't work for me. It just didn't work for the storytelling format. So I'm a fan of this author because I really like his writing, but the format that the story is told in just didn't quite work for me. So in this book, there are some attempts at symbolism, and there's some layers to unpeel here. The problem is that while I can see those layers, at least I think I can, while I appreciate the fact that, again, the author went for it, the story didn't have time to develop for it to really feel earned. So for me, those attempts kind of fell flat. So I'm going to give Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke a 2 stars out of 5. Again, I think this book is a love or hate type of situation, and I can see why people really enjoy it. If you are curious about this book, I would say read it. It is an experience. It's different. It's cool to have something so unique. So if you are curious, give it a read, give it a chance. You may really love it. It seems like people either really love it or really don't know what to think of it. So it is a conversation starter for sure. Fellow booktuber Book Blather had a review for this recently, and he gave it. I think he really liked the book, and he mentioned there that it's something you want to chat about. It's a conversation piece. So I can agree with that. I think it's a good, even though I didn't really enjoy it, I think it's something that you can have conversations about. You can think, and I think there may be even other things that I missed from it that other people may see. So I'm open to listening to it. I think, again, it might be a good thing just to have a discussion for it and to dissect and to dig a little deeper. So I am open to discussing it, having my mind changed. I love when those things happen. I'm wrong quite often, but my initial response was, I love the fact that the author went for it. What just didn't work in this storytelling format. So I want to be clear about that I really love the writing, but I don't know anyone who writes emails this vividly and eloquently and beautifully about everyday things that happen in their lives or an apple peeler. It just seemed kind of strange. And the end of the book was, you get this feeling that it was supposed to be this big build up, and then this ending that is disturbing and this eye-popping ending, and it just seemed kind of silly to me, and it was more funny than it was disturbing. It just seemed kind of silly. So again, I don't want to deter anyone from trying this book. If you are curious, give it a read, give it a chance, see what you think. So have you read Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke? If you have, let me know down below what you would rate it. Or if you want to have a discussion, I'm open to it. Let's have a discussion about this one. As always, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time, taking the time to watch, to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I will talk to you soon.